Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Alright, hey everyone. Alright, so here's what's going on. This video is going to be the second half of the video that I uploaded on August 23rd. It's a video about that says why you like this channel. The second half kind of went into another direction, okay? And I got some really good stuff out, so I thought I would just put this out there. It'll be a lot shorter video because a lot of people don't necessarily get to the end of all the videos, but there's some important information on this one. So I thought I'd put it out there and go ahead and listen to it. So number 3 on this specific subject. Right now, narcissist abuse is a popular thing. So the problem with that is you get a lot of these psychologists and professors and people that went to college and read a lot of books. And they're going, oh, I'll help you with narcissist abuse. And they don't know a damn thing about it. For example, these doctors are either narcissists themselves, constantly sending the message to the empaths, be weak, back away slowly. Don't make a problem for us. Make it easy for us to attack you. Hell no. That is one of the most dangerous pieces of advice you could give to someone when they're dealing with a predator who is stalking them, hunting them down. That is just not good advice, because you're turning on the flip switch of them to attack. When you show weakness, they get aggressive. So again, narcissists only deal with those people who are easy targets. If you're a difficult target, they will walk away and they'll find an easy target. They do not like to deal with hard targets at all. Now, if they're not narcissists, they just don't know what they're talking about, number one, because they haven't gone through the goddamn nightmare darkness of hell for years, year after year after year, to the point where they isolated themselves for years on how to figure out how to deal with this, how to heal from this. I would recommend that you go to an actual coach, therapist, doctor, or whatever who has dealt with this on a deep level on themselves personally, because you can't understand it. People that have not been through this, they can't even relate to what you're saying. So no matter how well-meaning a therapist or doctor is who hasn't gone through it, there's some people online that haven't gone through it, but they're doctors and they talk about it, and you can see in their eyes like they literally don't understand what they're talking about. But it's a popular subject and a great way to get more clients in, because this is kind of the thing that's exploding in the world right now. The problem is this is almost like a world within a world, and it's like they've never been in that world, so they have no clue what they're talking about. So people who have been through it, they can help you. That's all I'm saying. I mean, how many of you been through where you're trying to explain this to a friend and they looked at you like, are you sure there's not something wrong with you? Like that just doesn't make any sense. Like, why would someone do something like that? That just, it doesn't make any sense. Well, that's the thing about narcissists. They don't make any sense. So my point is, a lot of your friends or a lot of these people you try to explain this to, they just looked at you like, man, you're like, some of them may have said it, and some of them may have just gave you the look of like, yeah, I think you're a little bit off there, buddy, because they haven't dealt with it. Well, luckily now, because narcissist abuse is becoming very popular all over social media, these people who haven't dealt with it, they still don't understand it, but they now are realizing, like, okay, well, there's something going on with this, and it sounds like it's a serious issue, so you're being taken more seriously. But they still can't relate because they haven't gone through it themselves. So the message here is, if you're going to work with someone to help you through this, find someone who they themselves have gone through it, whether they're a professional doctor, a life coach, or someone who specializes in narcissist abuse and healing. So here's my point. When you back down, when you walk away slowly, there's no pain for them. There's no suffering. So it's like, what would stop them? They become more aggressive and they start doing worse and worse things to you. But when you fight back, they're like, oh shit, you can't mess with this person. And that's the message you want to get across. And you know what? As I'm talking about this right now, I think this is probably the number one reason why people are coming to my channel, is because I'm telling you, like, no, you're doing the worst possible thing by running away, or by walking away quietly, or backing away slowly and all that bullshit. You're making them more aggressive when you do that. I'm also getting the message across is that they're way, way more afraid of you than you are of them. And when you realize that, that's when the game turns 180 degrees in your favor. And now suddenly they don't want to come around. Next you know, you start doing your push-ups and your sit-ups, you start going for walks, you're starting to go for hill climbs, you start lifting weights, you might join a gym and learn how to box, you might start sparring, you might start, swinging some sticks around, you know what I'm saying? The other thing I think the reason why people like my channel is I reveal the truth. Even though it's considered, oh, what's the word? Damn, there's a word for it. Like, you're not allowed to say that. Like, I'll flat out say, like, there are narcissists in church. There are church leaders, narcissists that are in the position of power within churches. Because a lot of people go to churches with this open, vulnerable heart thinking, well, I'm in a safe space. No, you are not. That's not a safe space. Oh, the word's taboo. Like, you're not supposed to say stuff like that. And here's why. Because the narcissists don't want you. Because look, the narcissist's number one goal is to disarm you. They want to make you vulnerable. They want to make you weak. And they want to give you the perception that, oh, you can open up around these people in this space. So what's one of the perfect places to go that people would perceive like, oh, that's a safe space? The church. Okay? Another one is psychologists and psychiatrists. You just blindly go, oh, well, they're good people. No, there's a lot of people that became psychiatrists that are just cold-blooded, left logical people, and they don't have emotions. They don't care. They just want to make money. I mean, humans are infallible. You'll have some people that are very, very good people in the church. You have some people that are very, very good people in the therapy world, in psychology, psychiatry, etc. But then you get these people that they have their own issues. Like, they're angry at their dad, they're angry at their mom, they're angry at their childhood. And so, like, okay, some people will become psychologists because it's their egotistical way, like, oh, I'm smarter than you. That doesn't make you smarter than someone. It just means you learn some tools, some skills, and some understandings that other people didn't study. So what about someone who's an electrical engineer, an architect who built the Sears Tower, which, by the way, my step-grandpa actually was one of the architects on the building, which is kind of cool. Alright, so here's another reason, and this is actually the reason why I made this video in the first place. So I was talking about, I use metaphors and stories and examples, okay, to get the message across clearly, where your brain finally clicks and goes, oh, I finally understand what that phrase or that word means. Like, even the word gaslighting, for years I heard it in psychology class, went right over my head, I had no idea, right? So using, like I said, examples, metaphors, and stories, if you can understand the story, you can understand the teaching. Okay, that's just one of the techniques that we learned. So another one, this goes back to this in a second, is the music. I use music in my videos. One day I just didn't care. I used to just do it as an intro. But for some reason, I feel really comfortable with music. Okay, now I know some people don't. They're like, hey, like I had one person say, hey, I really don't like the music. And then yet on the same video, 3 other people are like, man, I really love the music. Okay, so logical people are not really going to like the right brain stuff, especially the music. Now, right brain people, they love the music because it taps you in, it tunes you in. Okay, this video is getting way too long, so I'm just going to go real quick. I do have a list here. So, alright, so one of the things I already said, I speak the unspoken truth, which is taboo, like they're also in churches, etc. Okay, here's a big one, which I've kind of mentioned in some of the other videos before the comments. It says, I'm talking about destroying the narcissist, going on the attack and never backing down. In other words, standing up for yourself, speaking up for yourself, fighting back, destroying narcissist. That's a message you don't hear from other people. You just don't, like, oh, back away slowly, be a coward, be a wimp. And like, who wants to hear that? We're sick and tired of getting beaten down and then being told, now just walk away and forgive them and act like nothing ever happened, while they go on to the next person and the next and the next and destroying and damaging. Hell no. Get the message out. Tell people who that person is. Let them know. Tell people about what narcissist abuse is so they can defend themselves. Tell them to speak up. Tell them to stand out, etc. I mean, I think the whole idea of telling people to basically be a coward and back away slowly, it's just like, who wants to hear that? Who wants to get beaten down, attacked, and destroyed, and then be told by your damn psychologist or therapist, some doctor, back away slowly, be a wimp, be a coward, and then in the next session, well, you know what your problem is? You don't have self-esteem, you don't have confidence. Geez, I wonder why, doc, because you keep telling me to be a pussy. So I think the message, stand up for yourself, fight back, be strong, etc. I think a lot of you have been wanting to hear this on an unconscious level for years, and yet you've been listening to all these supposed experts, even the ones with their doctorate degree, on how to back away. And like something inside you just was not resonating. Something inside you was just like, man, it just made you feel weak, and you fucking hated it. So finally someone comes along and says, no, screw that, throw that in the garbage, stand up for yourself, stand firm, be strong, screw that bullshit. You know, there's one thing I realized about 2 years ago, is I realized a psychologist, therapist, doctor that has never actually truly gone through the hells of dealing with a narcissist, in a million years they couldn't understand you. In fact, you've probably gone to therapists in the way past before this got popular like it is now on YouTube and social media, and they probably said, oh, well, you know, you've got delusions, or you've got fucking this mental problem, here, take some pills. They couldn't even fucking relate. And what's worse, they're just viewing you as you're the fucked up person. Something's wrong with you, so got to give you pills or got to give you therapy. And they're looking at their pocketbook like, okay, we've got to schedule another appointment next week. See you next week for another $200 from your insurance company. One of the things we learned at NLP is it was a 5-week training. It was the one in Hawaii, not the trainer's training, is the one before that, the master practitioner. Is Dr. Tad James, was speaking on this. He goes, look, man, he goes, one of the things about people that go to Western colleges for psychology and psychiatry, you're literally, we were going through the hypnosis section and learning like, well, what is hypnosis? One of it is just repeating something over and over again until it finally, your brain just accepts it. Well, this is the narcissistic tool. And so he was talking to the psychologist, which, by the way, all the psychologists and psychiatrists sat in the back of the room for some reason. And so he had said a lot of you are just flat out trained for year after year. You know, I think he said 8 years or however long they go to school, that if someone scratches their right cheek with their pointer finger 2 times within an hour, that means they've got some kind of dissociated disorder or some kind of anxiety issue, when it's like, no, they're just scratching their cheek. It was no big fucking deal. But you would literally write this down in your notes like, oh, he's got a anxiety disorder, panic disorder, he's got a semi whatever disorder, and he was going on and on. Or like if somebody repeats something 2 or 3 times an hour, like, oh, they have grandeur delusion, or they have this and that, and it's like a totally normal thing. After about 15 minutes of talking about this, a couple of the doctors raised their hand. They said, I got to be honest with you, you know, during our trainings, we were literally taught that if you pulled your hair, scratched your face more than once or twice, or if you were fidgety, or if you did whatever, like, we were taught that you had some kind of disorder, and we would literally write it in your chart and a lot of times prescribe medication for it. And these, and one after one, like, God, and they would, and here's what it came down to. They said, I can't believe how many people's lives that I screwed up for years, decades, or maybe their lifetime by telling them that they have this mental disorder. Because people, when they went back to their families and told them, like, people reject you, people turn against you and like, oh, don't want to be around that person. Oh, they're mentally ill. It's like, no, I scratched my fucking face twice, dickhead. You know what I'm realizing? It's probably the attitude I have that you guys like. Alright, so here's the deal. You may not want to hear it, but it's the truth. Believe it or not, but some doctors are racists. Some doctors are sexist. Some doctors are prejudiced. Hey, you might be the wrong gender and may not realize that this person doesn't like your gender. They may have had an issue when they were a child with your gender. You may not have realized, like, maybe they have some kind of issue with your skin color, okay? Now, I'm not saying all doctors are like this, or all priests or pastors or whatever. Some of them are good people, but you cannot sit there and go, well, they're a doctor, they're a priest, they're a pastor, therefore they're all good. That is just not reality. Your job as an empath, as a person who's been going through narcissist abuse, in fact, I would say one of the biggest lessons, it's almost like your life purpose, like what was one of the biggest things you came here to learn, is to stop putting people in boxes, not in a judgmental way, but in a way like, oh, I'm safe over here. No, there's good and bad people everywhere, in every group, in every family, in every situation, period, end of sentence. Remember, what's my number one rule? See the good and the bad in everyone. It's okay to see bad in people, okay? What light workers, light warriors, empaths, healers, one of our biggest problems is we just want to see the good in everyone. We look through this filter and only see the good. That is not healthy. That's very, very dangerous. So when you're dealing with your psychiatrist or psychologist or a doctor, put them through the narcissist test. Just pay attention. Are they shaming you? Are they blaming you? Or do they have this negative attitude and you're like, wait a minute, I just met this person. What's the problem? Just get up and walk out. Say, I don't feel comfortable. Don't even tell them that. Don't even say, you know what? I think it'd be best if I find another doctor. Do not explain yourself, okay? Or end the session and just never go back. Find another doctor, okay? Find someone you feel comfortable with. Believe it or not, but you're allowed to do that. I know, sounds crazy, right? In other words, just don't blindly accept that these are good people. Some of them are, but some of them are not. And maybe they're good for some people, but not good for you for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. It's okay to find someone that works well with you. That's all I'm saying. And the other thing I'm really, really saying is you have to keep your awareness up. You have to stay tuned in. You can't just blindly accept someone because they have this plaque on the wall or this name tag on, okay? So just put them through the test. Pay attention to what they're saying. Pay attention to your intuition. Like, how do you feel? Do you feel like you're being shamed, embarrassed, belittled? Are you being discarded? Is what you're saying being devalued? Put them through the narcissist test. It doesn't mean they're a narcissist. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But maybe they're doing things you're like, that's actually not something that's cool or that's not healthy. So move on. I think the final thing that I'm going to say now, the reason why a lot of you guys might like this channel, is that I'm talking about victory. I'm talking about you winning this battle. Other people don't talk about it. Not only am I saying stand up, fight back, I'm saying, hey, you're actually more powerful here. You're the one that's going to win, and all you have to do is A, B, C, and D, and boom, the narcissist runs and hides. I don't hear that in other channels. I don't hear people talking about victory and winning and here's how you win. And here they're just back away slowly. Just be quiet. Don't let anyone know. Just hide under a rock. Like, fuck that. Throw that rock on the goddamn narcissist's head. And for any narcissists that are actually listening, no, I don't mean that literally physically. I mean that metaphorically. And if you don't know what a metaphor is, you're probably on the wrong channel. Okay, fine. It's like someone in class said, what is a metaphor? And everyone started laughing. So a metaphor, again, it's like a story or an example. Like I just said, like, instead of hiding under the rock, throw that rock on top of the narcissist's head. It's just a metaphor, okay? It just means like stop hiding, come out from underneath, and start fighting back. Stand up for yourself. Now, if for those of you who understood it the first time I said the metaphor and go, why are you explaining this? Believe it or not, but there are some people, especially narcissists, who can't process or understand a metaphor or an example. It goes right over their head. Why? Because that's a right brain example. It's a right brain process. So if you're not a right brain person, you're not going to understand these metaphors or examples. It's going to go right over your head. And that is why you guys like this channel, is because most of you are probably right brain people. And remember, I'm not saving the world. I'm saving the good people. God bless you guys. Alright, so remember, Jesus is awesome, kick ass, take names, and live your life to the fullest. Alright, remember, click subscribe, click that like button, make a comment, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.